Hello, everybody. Welcome to a reaction video. We are recording from our homes because we're doing physical distancing during the coronavirus, but it's not stopping us from reaching out to our friends and getting some raw reactions. So very pleased to have Stephen and Carl to give their reaction. Why don't you guys introduce yourself? Why don't we start with you, Stephen?
Yeah, hi. So I'm Stephen. Hi, I'm with Agilysis in the UK. I look after the product side of things for Agilysis. So we're a global organisation providing software and services to the hospitality industry around the world.
Fantastic. Good to have you, buddy. Carl, introduce
Daniel,
yourself for those that may not
thank you
know
very
who the
much.
great Carl Weldon is.
My name's Carl Weldon. I'm Chief Operations Officer for Europe for HFTP. You may not know it, but I was actually born in a hotel. So I've been in the industry all my life. I've been with HFTP just over 4 years. HFTP, who you must all know, are the producers of High-Tech and are recognised as a spokesgroup for the finance and technology segments of the hospitality industry. And I'm based in the UK.
Actually, I didn't know this before we scheduled this, but I just found out that you gentlemen are actually in the same town, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Where is it again?
Bracknell.
Bracknell.
In the UK.
Okay.
It's
We're literally about a mile apart.
It's the tech valley of the UK.
Yeah.
Very cool. Crazy. That is so funny. Now once the crisis has passed, you guys can get together at the pub and you walk to a meeting. Very good. Well, the way this works, Sean's going to share an article. These gentlemen have not seen this article, or at least we don't know that they've seen it. They've not seen it before with us. Maybe they have seen it, but we're going to share it and we're going to get their raw reaction. This is from our friends at Insights, Hoteliers. So Matthew Stevens, shout out to you and the great content you guys are putting out. Especially during this crisis, really, really appreciative. This little article is about they use the term cleanliness theater in the post-pandemic world, and essentially it's looking at how important the idea of demonstrating great hygiene will be to hotels to assure and reassure guests after this. After this period, guests that may have more heightened sense of concern about germs and what's out there. So, my question to you guys: do you think that do you see that there will be an upsurge in this kind of cleanliness theater? Do you think that hotels will have there will be an effort by hoteliers to demonstrate cleanliness? Is it something that could be seen as a competitive advantage? Is it something that would be an advantage of hotels over disruptors like Airbnb, where people might not know or be confident that the place will be clean? What do you think, guys? Carl, you went last time, so why don't you go first this time?
Okay, very interesting topic. I think it may depend on what you mean by cleanliness, and it's all relative to before and after to some great extent.
Yeah.
And an example would be I was talking to a founder of a restaurant operating group earlier today, and his comment to me was, if you had a restaurant with 140 covers before this happening, when you open, you're not going to open with 140 covers. You're probably going to open with 70 covers, because people will expect a distance, and they will expect to have much more space between themselves and the next group. And I think that level of cleanliness has heightened everybody's awareness. And I think hotels with check-in, everything to do with, shall we say, even payments, you're going to be using a lot more contactless. So in the UK, the contactless payment level has been put up by 30% in the last 2 weeks, because of everything to do with the supermarkets. I also think, because of hotels are much more regulated than, shall we say, the Airbnbs of this world, and then there's restaurant scores for hygiene and everything in the UK at least. I think hotels and restaurants with these scores, with regulation in the industry, will be much better able to present the cleanliness scores and their reactions or their qualifications to the public than any of these others will do, Daniel. So I think this will be much more interesting, but I think we're going to be taking the word cleanliness to a whole nother ball game. I heard something, I don't know if you were on the call last night, one new technology, single-use linen, for example, used in hotel bedrooms, how they will cope with that and technology. But it's who's been there and who's been there before. All that kind of thing is suddenly heightened compared to what we had before, and that's the challenge.
Yeah. Do you? I'm eager to hear what Stephen has to say, but before jumping on that, I wanted to know: do you think that not only should they, when you're talking about the standards that they have to follow, the more rigid regulations that hotels and restaurants have to follow, do you think that they will be touting their scores as a competitive advantage? Yeah,
no question. We have a phrase over here. It's called scores on the doors. And it literally is that. And restaurants and takeaways will be putting what their hygiene score is, top left, and it'll be on their website and things like that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if guests. I mean, those scores on the doors, you kind of see them, but do people really pay attention? Will they?
They will.
They will, in the future. Good. Stephen, what's your take on cleanliness theater? The idea of showing just how clean your place is, and this in this time of crisis.
Yeah, I would echo a lot of what Carl has just said. I think it is going to be a differentiator coming out of this crisis, absolutely, for the whole hospitality industry. Hotels are going to want to show what they're doing around cleanliness, and they're going to use that to differentiate themselves from their competition. Absolutely. I was talking to a hotelier last week about kiosk technology, and their comment around that was that they think that there's the potential for a drop in use of kiosk technology and moving on towards more customers using their own devices for things like check-in and check-out and ordering food and so on. Again, because of the cleanliness factor.
Sure. Yeah. So some of these technologies that are being adopted in some areas slowly, some areas a little bit more, maybe accelerating now because of the crisis.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think an interesting area, Daniel, will be, I think hotels will have a challenge, restaurants as well, but things like cruise ships, oh my goodness, there is a new challenge looking for them when they come back up, and let alone all the staffing they've got to bring in from across the world. Again, that brings in a whole different level of cleanliness, where these people coming from. If you think of the nationalities on a cruise ship, or in a resort hotel, people are it's going to take a while for us to, as consumers of hospitality, to actually get the confidence back in our hospitality operations, and I think technology is going to play a big part in it.
Yeah.
So there was an article, I think it was yesterday. I think I read it around cruise ships, and saying that some cruise ship operators are looking at the possibility of requiring health certificates from doctors for passengers before they'll allow them to join the cruise.
Yeah, that could be very interesting. It's going to be interesting as well in terms of, shall we say, if you take it to another level, we talked about cruises, hotels, restaurants, but bars and stadia. If you think of going to a football match, a soccer match in the UK, up to 70,000 people. In the US, some of the stadiums are larger. These people have got a challenge as well. Whether we'll be seeing masks with everybody again, it's going to take a long time to unwind this, because by the time we come out, we're going to have, this has all been built into our psyche. The social distancing, and it's how do we come out of that, and how do we let ourselves out of it is going to be an interesting challenge for everybody.
Yeah, the psychology around habits. What do they say? It takes 24 days to establish a habit, or something like that.
Isn't that
well,
your area
well
of
past that.
expertise,
We're
Daniel?
past
Yeah.
what being habitual or
Being a psychologist of some kind.
Well, I did study, but just enough to realize that I am indeed crazy, and so are you. Well, guys, hey, thanks so much for giving us this raw reaction to this story, and yeah, super fascinating stuff. And the birds agree, apparently.
Yeah, apologies for that.
No apologies if necessary. It's awesome. Sean, as we close out, any last statements?
No, just all good points. I think businesses that do cleaning are going to have a new shot here if they didn't already do it. Who's going to decide who does the scores on the doors? And with kiosks, I think you're going to see a lot of plastic glove dispensers and or some kind of screen, screen thing on the screen that they could pull off for each use or something. They're going to have to come up with some sort of solution. So great points, guys. Good job.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks everybody for watching another Venza reaction video. We will see you next time.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.